Hey guys, welcome back to Ultimate S&S. So today we're going to be discussing, this is why we prepare. This is how you prepare. Why are we discussing this so much on prepping communities and on sustainability communities? Because it all ties in together, guys. So if you're not prepping, if you're not preparing, if you're not focusing on a sustainable lifestyle, you're going to be facing situations like they're facing over in a lot of European countries right now and a lot of the third world countries. Uh, War can hit your doorstep at any time, guys. And it doesn't even have to be something like that. It can be some kind of a sickness or something like that that goes out. As we've seen over the last couple of years, it affects people, it affects their jobs, it affects their families and things like that. So it could be a loss of life, loss of a job. But if you're preparing now, you are ready for those events that happen. And there's more than one way to prepare. So you can be getting a lot of your food and water and things like that set back. And if you haven't been doing that, I highly recommend that you get your food now. You're looking at the shelves that are at the stores, and a lot of them are empty. They're emptying out, and they're saying that this is going to get worse. If you're in areas where you're not seeing that kind of a dwindling on supplies yet, then definitely be getting what you can, because those prices are going to do like they're doing in this area, going through the roof. I mean, we're talking double and tripling in a lot of cases. And you're going to notice a lot of your serving sizes will go down. You used to get a can, now they sell a can, and they put less stuff in that as well. Same thing if you're looking at just like a bag of chips. So you used to get a big bag of chips, and then they started only put about a 3/4 of a bag in it. They called it settling. So then they reduced the size of the bag, and then it settles again, which is even less food that you actually buying at that point. And they're charging more for that stuff, and you're seeing that happen in the stores. The serving sizes and stuff, they're trying to act like this is a king size box, which was actually not a king size box just a week prior. And it's actually charging you 2 or 3 times for less food in a lot of situations. So something to be aware of. And then you also need to be thinking about survival skills. So what do I mean by that? Well, one of our most primitive techniques that we have is fire building. It's probably one of the first things that mankind had come up with, is how to start a fire. Because if they were eating meat, they needed something to cook that on, guys. So here's a word from one of our affiliates, kind of getting some of these affiliate programs. So I hope you enjoyed this little commercial we come up with. Fire, one of man's most primitive skills, has now been given an upgrade with modern technology. So I hope everyone enjoyed that. It's a little something I'd come up with for Bigfoot Bushcraft. I really like their items that they sell. I bought one of their kits back before I become an affiliate, and absolutely loved them. It's good to have magnesium starters and things like that, and old flint steel setups and stuff. But you want to have something in your pack that you are guaranteed is going to get your fire started. I would recommend that you at least stock some of those fire plugs and their ferricium rod. It's a lot better quality than that stuff you're buying on Amazon. I bought a few of those, and I have them break. The handles come off and things like that. I've not had any issues using Bigfoot Bushcraft, guys. I really haven't. So I do recommend their gear. If you want to buy it, that's great. I'm going to put a discount code in the description. It'll also be posted down in the comments for you. It's going to have a link where you can go. And I do get a small commission off that. It doesn't cost you anything more. And that link that I'm going to give you with the little discount code, you're going to get 15% off on that, anything you order from them, guys. So definitely enjoy that. And as they raise that, if they give me opportunities to give higher discounts, those will come out, and I'll make sure to post that in there as well, guys. But you can save 15% on that. So the purpose of this video, guys, is not just to try to scare you. So you may be looking at a thumbnail and be thinking, what's up with this thumbnail? You're showing this destroyed city, people wandering through the street, and you're showing like UN tanks and stuff like that. Well, that's a very real situation that can happen, and it helps to bring people into the video so they understand just how serious this situation is. So I know preppers have been saying for years, you need to get prepared, you need to get prepared. I think they've been doing this for a couple decades now. A lot of your movie stars and things like that, your bodybuilders, your wrestlers and stuff, they become off-gridders, and they were kind of saying, we're trying to get prepared. Well, they're obviously a lot more prepared than most of us preppers are going to be, but understand they don't have any survival skills. Most of them don't know what to do. But if you learn something as simple as how to prep canned food or how to prep any kind of food, you're going to learn how to give it safe, long storage. You're going to learn how to rotate that into your kitchen stocks, how to rotate that into your groceries. That's why it's important to only prep the stuff that you're going to eat. Now, there's nothing wrong with prepping stuff that maybe you don't really like to eat too much. The only issue I can see with that is if you don't like to eat it, the chance of you rotating it into your groceries is very slim. So it could potentially go bad. But what we're seeing right now with the state of our nation, with the state of the affairs overseas and stuff like that, and with all of the warnings come down from the World Food Program, from the UN, from the G20 summit, it sounds like we need to definitely start stocking up some food. Maybe you don't have a lot of money to do that. You can buy garden seeds, and I usually tell people to buy heirloom if you can. But honestly, at this point, get what you can find, get what you can afford, and get you some stuff planted, because it may not give you the same, nice size quality fruits the next season out. You still are going to be able to grow something with that. You can start raising your own flocks and stuff. That's kind of what I do here. For those that have been on this channel a while, I use the quail fertilizer mostly for the garden. The chicken fertilizer, the chicken poo, it's kind of warm. I mean, it's pretty hot. So that's one of the things that's going to sit out and be mulched and be mulched and be mulched, and it won't be used until the end of gardening season. Then it'll get tilled into the ground. Then by next spring, it'll be ready to be planted again. But quail fertilizer, you can take that. I've got some videos up. If you go check the garden out, you can put that in a 5-gallon bucket, just a couple shovel full, and fill that 5-gallon bucket full of water and let it sit about 48 hours. And that's going to diffuse a lot of the nitrogen in there, where you can apply that to the plants, and it's going to greatly boost that. I was planning to do some videos in the garden today, but this morning it was just crazy raining. Come up a thunderstorm. Didn't realize it's supposed to rain. Last I'd seen it's supposed to be 80 and sunny. But this is Florida, man. That's just how things work. So we also have our chicks in the back. I know I haven't done a whole lot of videos with them. They are in their grow out pen right now. And I was trying to get some video this morning, like I said again, and it just come up a torrential downpour. So I've got them locked securely in their coop, and I don't want to risk them flying out or anything, getting in all this wet mess right now. So then the larger chickens we have, they're doing very well. They eat any kind of bugs they can find. They actually like it when it's raining, because they can get out right after the rain, kick the dirt up and find bugs and stuff. And that helps, with the bill as far as feeding them and stuff as well. So I don't free range my chickens, and it's not just because of this avian H5N1 that's going around, and it's decimating a lot of flocks. But I'll try to get some video for y'all. But we have a large bird of prey that fly around out here, hawks, very large eagles, and I do not want to risk losing chickens to something like that, especially while we're getting reports of millions of birds being destroyed across the East Coast. And now it sounds like even on the West Coast and in the Midwest. So those are not just egg-laying birds. Those are meat-purpose birds, not just chickens. We're also talking about turkeys as well. So we're going to be seeing a higher price come up on our food. Now, this is kind of perfect for them to come out with that that lab-grown cultured meat or whatever it is. And that's probably what they're going to do, guys. Sorry, I got an eyelash here. Give me just a second to get that situated. There we go. So, we're that lab cultured meat. So what that is just something they're growing in a lab from protein cells. It's not actually from meat, as far as we know meat. I personally, I do not want to eat that. I would rather eat processed meat. The things that are left over after they process it is turned into a hot dog or Vienna sausage or potted meat, because to me that's more actual meat than whatever they're growing in that lab. That's just me, guys. You can do what you want. They're going to have to put labels on that it is lab grown, genetically grown meat, They're going to have labels on that in the store so people know. But what you're going to see is the prices of actual meat products going up because they're trying to reduce the overall stock that we have in this country. When I say they, who am I referring to? We're referring to deep states. We're referring to the powers that be. We're referring to people that are up there with the power of a pen, waging war on our domestic oil supplies, waging war on our ability to have a independent energy source in our country. So that began the second day of their term, guys. So you need to be aware of what's going on with that. Now, I've got a lot of different playlists, and there's a lot of good questions that come out, and I try to answer those as best I can. Usually, if I've done a video on that, I'm going to direct you to where that video is, or at least to the playlist. But our honeybees, I tried to get some video of that last night as they were coming in, but I didn't have the flash on the camera. I try not to have the flash on because they will fly straight at the camera lens because they see that light, especially when it's dark. I try not to have that on. But I wasn't able to get anything today either because, again, the rain. But those videos will definitely be coming. We will be going back into the hives. I'm going to say probably middle of next week. We've got some rain coming in Monday night, Tuesday night, and Wednesday night. So maybe close to the weekend. So, you know, you don't want to be opening your hives in the rain, obviously. You don't want to be opening up when your temperature is going to dip down a little bit. I try not to go into a hive at all unless it's 80 degrees outside. That's just my personal preference. I don't think there's a written law or anything like that, guys. But that's what I've learned is my bees seem to do better regulating the temperature for the brood and things like that that's in there. So understand they're keeping that hive at a very hot temperature. We're talking somewhere around 100 or a little higher Fahrenheit. And what they're doing is they're drying the moisture that's in the nectar or their honey that they've spit into the hive. They're drying that out. They're basically evaporating that out. Then they come in and they seal that comb. And once they have that comb sealed, that stuff is good to go. And the plan is, I'm hoping by end of May is what I'm kind of looking at, to be able to draw at least a couple frames out for my own uses of that honey. And then I also would like to take and be able to do a hive split. We'll just have to keep an eye and see if, you know, how the hive's doing. But I think we're going to be able to from the last report that I looked in there, and I made a video on that too. So for those who are wondering where the playlist is, when you're looking at the home page for this channel, there is a tab across the top and it will say playlists, and it's going to have a few on there. Just hit more and it's going to show all the playlists we have. It's going to show all of our past live streams. It's going to show everything we've recorded on this. And for those that are interested in it, sorry about that. Still kind of getting over that cold a little bit. For those that are interested as well, I am also now on Rumble. So here's the little link for that. The name of the channel over there is Voice in the Wind. It is all one word. There's no spaces in it. But for those who don't know what Rumble is, it is another social media platform, and it's more of a talk radio type of thing. I want this channel to be more for instructions as far as how to navigate creating your own homestead. And understand when I'm saying a homestead or a farm, I'm not talking about those thousands of acres, guys. Everything we're doing is being done on 1 acre. Okay. And there are 4 people in this group. And between the work that I do and then the prepping stuff that they do, we're pretty well self-sufficient on stuff. So that's a great way to be. And now, how long did it take to get that way? It's not going to happen overnight, guys. Now, if you got the money, you can make it happen overnight. But we're looking at, a year's worth of work, working hard into this stuff. And even now, like my chickens, they probably won't start laying until probably middle of June is kind of what I'm thinking. And if you ever watch my chicken videos, my chicken care videos, you're going to notice I do not have any nesting boxes out there right now. The reason for that, guys, is simply if you put the nesting box out too soon, they're just going to use it as a potty. They're going to climb up there, they're going to roost out, and they're going to potty in the thing. You want them to associate the nesting box with egg laying, not as a hangout. So this is just from the research that I've done, watching different types of farming things where they're talking about their chickens, and a lot of the books that I've read as well, and even talking to the guy that owns a local feed store up here where I usually buy all my feed and stuff. And he's actually quite a bit cheaper than Tractor Supply. But here's the little commercial for that, or a little ad, if you want to call it an intro, for my Rumble page, guys. And if you look at the community tab, it's going to tell you exactly. There's video even in my main playlist. It's going to show you how to sign up for that if you want to follow us on there. Yeah, so a lot of you have come over already, and for that, thanks for the comments, thanks for the Rumble marks over there, which is kind of like a thumbs up, and just watching the videos, guys. So I'm going to be focusing a lot, obviously, on YouTube. That's going to be maybe a couple times a week to get over there. If there's like some real important news that I think should be openly shared, you know, it's going to be shared over that way. But as far as like what we're doing here with the homestead, I'm going to keep that news. I'm going to keep that information here for everybody. We will start doing live streams over there. I've not decided what days or anything. I'm going to have to figure that out. My live streams over here, they're definitely going to be changing hours. So Saturday, that's going to be a tentative thing, guys. Like, I got so busy today, and then the freak power outage that happened with this storm and all this mess. You know, I didn't have internet other than what's on the phone, and it'd have been too choppy to even bother with it. So I didn't bother with that. So that's going to be a tentative things on Saturday, and that's going to be somewhere between 9:30, 10 o'clock in the mornings when we can do those. Wednesdays, our main live stream day, we're going to be moving that time. Okay, we're going to move that time to 8 o'clock because it is getting dark later. It's about 7:20 now before my chickens actually go to the coop on their own. And I don't want to be doing a live stream and then being out there for an hour, hour and a half in the dark by themselves, because we do have predators out here. So I make sure they're locked tight in the coop. That gives me plenty of time to get that. And then to get in here, I'm not going to be running late on live stream. So Wednesday nights, that's going to be 8 o'clock. And that is Central Standard Time. Or I guess now we're Central Daylight Time, if you want to call it that. But that's kind of where we're at right now with that, guys. But I really have enjoyed making a lot of these YouTube videos and stuff. And I think I'd maybe have done an update earlier, but we are now in the process of being reviewed by YouTube for monetization. There are some hiccups in the Google AdSense stuff. Finally got that dealt with. So I'm going to make a video on that. For those of you who are coming up and are looking to monetize your channels, I'm going to explain the experience that I had trying to deal with this thing, because it was a complete nightmare, and it ended up being something that I was like, okay, well, I'm going to try to figure this out on my own. And finally was able to, because you couldn't get any help. There was no help support. You post up on the boards, and then it says, maybe check this one out because someone posts something similar to you. And it had been like up for 3 years, and people were still like, it's been 3 years. I still haven't got a resolve on this issue. So figured it was time to just get in and play around with it. So we're going to put a video up for that as well. That's going to help a lot of people. But that's kind of where I'm at today. It's been kind of a lazy day for me. It really has. As y'all can see, you probably can see, pretty tired today. Anytime it rains and stuff, having to get out and, you know, muck around in the muck, it's gross. It's grody. Makes me feel like I just want to crawl up in bed. So, and every time I step outside in the yard, I feel like I need to take a shower, because y'all see how wet it gets out here when it really rains. And we had some brief thunder showers. It's this Tuesday and Wednesday that I'm looking at, that unless something changes in the weather, and it could, I am a little worried that it might rain too much for the garden. But then again, I thought that the last time it rained a lot, and that actually helped the garden out quite a bit. It was the cold snap that killed the garden. So it's probably going to help. I will do some videos on that, about how to set manure and stuff against the rows and stuff like that. Kind of show you what I do when I'm expecting those big rains. And it just fertilizes the garden. But as of today, it looks good, except for some of the excess standing water. But I have planted a lot of plants. I have a lot of cantaloupe. I have a lot of watermelon plants that, as they really start to take off, that's actually going to be a good thing, because they're going to need all the water they can make. Because I've got about 5 cantaloupe plants planted and 3 watermelon plants, and we're talking the nice size watermelons. They're not them little, I forget what they're called now, the sweet melons or something. It's nice big watermelons. So we're going to see how well that works. But I'm really looking forward to being able to cut in one of them things on one of our Saturday brunches. I think it'd be pretty cool. But hope everyone is having a wonderful evening. I just want to give everyone an update. And I'm looking at, well, I was looking at doing some really great fishing content videos, but with the rain coming in and then it raining today, that kind of washed out my idea for the freshwater fishing. So I might can do some saltwater fishing. I'm just gonna have to look at it. But if they open this dam up where it dumps the brackish into the Gulf, it's not going to be good for anything. So just keep an eye out for those types of videos. We are coming into our nicer weather here. April is usually quite a bit of rain, but as it comes toward the end of April, that's usually when I can get a lot of my fishing in. I've made some few calls with some buddies and things that they live on lakes, or they're one of them was actually a boss. They actually have lakes on the property, and they're like, yeah, you just come out here and fish all you want. So apparently there's bass and some stuff. How big they are, I don't know, but we're going to find out. So it'll be fun anyway. But we can discuss fishing techniques and understand with fishing techniques, it's going to be a lot about not just what state you're in, but what lake you're in as well, or what pond you're in, because everything has its own preference, is what I've learned over the years with fishing. I've used some lures that catch really large bass, and then some lures that only catch brim and go to a totally different lake. And the ones that catch the bass, they're not hitting anything. And then they end up hitting rooster tails, which is what I use for brim and bluegill. It's just crazy sometimes. So just have to figure it out. But we'll teach you how to do that where you're not there all day. If you go through the steps we're going to show you and you're not catching anything, don't stay all day. Leave, maybe come back in the evening before the sun goes down. I'm not talking right at dark, but evening when it starts to get lower in the sky and it's cooling off, and give it another try. But don't fish all day. If you're getting absolutely no bites, it's time to move on to another location, or to, go have a picnic or something and wait for the sun to get where it's not so high in the sky, because that can affect your fishing a lot. Now, typically, if you can get to an area and catch it right as it's starting to rain, that's the best time to fish that I've noticed. That's when your large bass are hitting. And I love to catch bass. I love to eat bluegill. I have eaten bass before. I prefer bluegill. But honestly, in a situation where you're trying to get food up, as long as it's a legal size fish, I'm going to keep it. That's just the way it is. And I really want to get where I can catch some stingrays, but I'm going to have to coordinate that probably with Survival Living, because the problem with that is most of the stingray I catch are off of a dock, or a pier, I should say, a very long pier. And if I'm recording and trying to bring a fish in, I have to walk the stingray out. You have to walk them to the bank. You're talking a long walk back through the pier. You have to walk them back out toward the bank. Then you're leaving your fishing gear, you're leaving your camera gear and stuff like that there. And you don't want to do that, because someone's going to walk off with it. This is Florida. Unfortunately, that is a very real thing that can happen. If you leave something unattended, they'll go, oh, look what I found, and walk off with it. And if you catch them with it, oh, I didn't know. I just thought someone had forgot it or left it or didn't want it anymore. So, but I hope everyone has a wonderful week. Well, I guess it's weekend now. So, but I'm going to get off here, guys.